Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. Today I'm going to give you an orchard update and we're going to plant more fruit trees. I got more fruit trees in that I have been waiting for, so I can't wait to show you what they look like and then share with you my husband and I kind of thinking about where they're going to go, and then also give you an update on how the fruit trees are growing. So if you are new here, my name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee in Zone 7B, and y'all, we just started our own very first fruit tree orchard a little over 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so if you've missed those videos, I'll pop them up here. We did 2 videos talking about kind of how we got here and why we decided to do an orchard. And then also I did a video on the first planting of the first 9 fruit trees. So yes, we already have 9 in the ground. They're behind me. Of course, it's hard to see because they are still, very small, but I can't wait to show you how they're looking and how they're doing and what's been happening over the last 3 weeks. But then also, y'all, you know that I had ordered more fruit trees at the same time I ordered these, but they were on delay. So they finally came in. So we have 4 more fruit trees to plant, and I'm excited about it. But so before I show you the new trees, let me recap what we already have in the orchard planted. So we have 2 rows, and in the 1 row we have 4 apple trees. We have a Fuji, a Gala, a Honey Crisp, and a Golden Delicious. And then we also have a crab apple, which is really just for pollination. And then behind that row, we have 2 plum trees, and then we have 2 pear trees. So what we're going to be planting in this video are 3 peach trees, and then also another pear tree. So I am learning all about fruit trees. I'm trying to soak up all the information that I possibly can about fruit trees. This is my first time doing it. And I'm the kind of person, I just like to have information, research, and just, absorb and soak it all in. And so I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of listening to YouTube videos about fruit trees. And one of the things that I learned is that for my pear trees, they actually need a pollinator. And so I have 2 Bartlett pear trees right now. And so we ordered a 3rd one to be the pollinator. And so the trees I'm going to show you today are mainly from Stark Bros. That is another vendor that we've used in our whole fruit tree selection. In the other videos, I kind of went through the vendors that we had used before and gave you some kind of reviews on those. But let me tell you about Stark Bros, and let me show you the trees that arrived over the week. So what I ordered from Stark Bros was 2 peach trees. One was a Red Haven and one is an Alberta. I already had a Red Haven that I had gotten from a local person, and so I'll have 2 Red Haven and an Alberta, so they should pollinate each other. And this is the Alberta here. And from Stark Bros, I ordered a semi-dwarf, and so they're going to get about 10 to 15 feet versus the standard tree is going to be like 20 to 25 feet. And then a dwarf tree is like 8 to 10 feet. But this is semi-dwarf. It looks good. They just have this stick here, I think, to kind of keep the stem steady and kind of serve it as a stake. But it looks good. It comes in this pot that you can see here. You can't see through the plastic, but when we take it out, let me see if I can take it out now. It has holes on the bottom so that it air prunes and you don't have to worry about the roots circling. And so with Stark Bros, they have a 1-year warranty on all of their plants, which is very, very nice. I've ordered strawberries from Stark Bros before, and they always have excellent customer service. But you can kind of see it's in this container. It looks really, really healthy, but then you can see at the bottom the holes. So almost like our 6L pruning tray, it's going to allow the roots to air prune versus circling and getting root bound if it was in a closed container. This is called the semi-dwarf Easy Start. This is supposed to be 1 to 3 inches high, which, yep, that's about right. Now the stick, of course, is longer than that, but the plant kind of stops right there. But they also have a semi-dwarf that is Easy Start that is, I think, 3 to 5 feet high. So it's a little bit more established. But we're getting these in the ground in the fall. It should do just fine. And so you would take it out of this container and then just put it in the ground like so. So let me close this back up and then I'll show you the others. This is the pear tree. that I got from Stark Bros. This is a dwarf variety, so it's going to be smaller. And this is, it says a Stark's exclusive. It's called Starking Delicious. So I don't know if this is one that they kind of put together, or not put together, you know what I mean. Maybe it's only sold there because I haven't heard of it otherwise. But the reviews were great, and it looked very, very good online. And it said it was a pollinator for Bartlett. So we're going to try it. And then the very last one is up another peach tree that looks just as good as the first one. So I am excited. So now let's talk about where they're actually going to go. So when we were deciding about where to put the peach trees, if you were here before and we talked about the placement of these trees, we tried to place everything about 20 feet apart. And the ones that are like dwarf or semi-dwarf, we kind of did 10 to 15 just to allow for airflow, easy pruning, and all of that good stuff. But then also these two rows that we have here, and I'm going to let you see how they're doing. We want to also avoid being so close to the power lines. So using these two rows here, we were kind of out of space to go up any further up on the hill for the peach tree. So we had to find an alternate space. So we looked at 3 main spaces as options for the peach trees. So the first space we looked at was actually behind this area here. So you can see where the peach trees are, where the fruit trees are now. There's 2 rows, you can see that. And so we thought about going even back further, cutting that down and putting the peach trees back there. I did like that option because they would kind of all be together. But what I did not like about that option is that it's so close to, there's like a trail there on our property and it's close to the woods. And I'm just afraid that the deer would come down and we wouldn't even be able to see them from the house. Like in this line of view right here, I can see if deer were over here, I can see that from my house, and also the dogs can see. And so we feel pretty, we feel safer, let me just say that, with them being right here versus being even further behind. Now we talked about we could put a fence back there, and that definitely is a plan, but I wasn't for sure that we could put those trees up today and then still be able to build a fence before it gets too cold. And I just didn't want to take any chances. So I thought, I like that, but I'm not comfortable unless I can get me a fence pronto. And my husband could not guarantee he could get me a fence pronto. So therefore, I'm like, I don't know about that. But let me show you the second space that we talked about as well. Okay, so the second space we thought about was along the driveway. So you see this big tree here. It would be to the left of this tree, kind of on the side of the high tunnel. I can't really get a great shot because I have some stuff over there, but just imagine on the right side of the tunnel by the driveway. That was the second spot we thought about putting the fruit trees. And so let me tell you what I thought about that. So with that option, I guess the pro of that option is that, of course, the three fruit trees would be together, and we would avoid the power lines, we would avoid the water lines, and all of that good stuff. What I didn't like about it is that it's kind of far removed from the rest of the orchard. So I did not like that as well. And so the constraints that we had in terms of where to put the fruit trees, the peach trees, and any other, like, because I also have some fig trees that need to be out here as well that we still haven't figured out where we're going to plant. But we're trying to avoid the power line that's right there. To the left of that power line is the water line, because we have water on the outside garden, and they do the water line to the left of that. So we were trying to avoid that. Plus, we also have fiber ran kind of in this space right here. So we're trying to make sure that we're at least 25 to 40 feet away from either line. So that's what made it challenging. And because we don't know the exact spot of where it is, like we have a general idea, but we could not pinpoint the exact spot, we wanted to err on the side of caution. So the third place that we thought about was on the left side of the power poles right there, and that's where we ended up landing. So let's walk up here and let me show you kind of the area that we chose. Okay, so you can't necessarily see it to scale, but if you can see the black bucket in the video frame, the trees are going to be about maybe 2 feet to the right of that. One tree will start there, even with the pole, so like left of the pole straight across, and that's about 40 feet. So we're about 40 feet away from the power line, and we're very, very far from the water line. So we're going to plant the trees starting right there, coming back towards the garden. And so there'll be 3, and we're going to do 15 feet apart because the trees are semi-dwarf. So you can kind of see that there. You can see that stick. That's where the first tree is going to be. and then 15 feet from there, the next tree, and then 15 feet from there will be the third tree. And so it'll kind of keep coming towards the garden. That's where we'll have them, and that seems to be a space that is away from the constraints that we have. So I feel good about the spot that we chose. It's one of the things when you're dealing with perennials, and especially fruit trees, you kind of make sure that you know where your location is and where it's going to be, because it's going to be much more difficult to pull them up and just kind of rearrange them at will. So hopefully that is going to be a good spot that's going to give us where they can grow to their maturity, but not be in danger of anything else. Now, originally we also talked about that same, so imagine that same linear row, but starting from this end working up. But because if we start at that end, it's more narrow, we're going to be too close to the water or the fiber line, because it gets wider as you keep going up towards the house or up the hill. So that's why we start up the hill and coming down. And I would still have space to probably do, I think, 2 or 3 more trees before I get to where it's too far down, but we'll see. So once we get these 3 peach trees in the ground, the only thing that I have left would be a fig tree. And that was given to me by someone, and then I may buy another fig tree. So that will be a total of 2 fig trees that I'll need to place. Everything else, the plan right now is to do berry bushes. So we still have to like nail down the place where we're going to do the berries. But in terms of the fruit trees, then that will be it as far as I know for now. So let me show you some footage of my husband digging, getting the stuff ready to put the fruit tree in, and then we already got the first one in. Okay, y'all, the first tree is in. This is a Red Haven peach. Now, of course, the stake is long. Let me see if you can see where the actual tree stops there compared to the long stake. Okay, so first one's in, second one's on the way. That should be wrapped up here momentarily. We got to go to the store and get some mulch to make sure that we just put mulch on top like the group did for the other ones. But let me take you out. I love saying to the orchard. I love that. Let me take you out and show you how the fruit trees are growing, and then some additional things that I did as well. You'll see that one of the things that I added to all the trees are these tree guards. I got these off Amazon, and they're linked in my Amazon shop, but they just kind of coil around the tree. It's very easy to put in place, but this is going to protect the tree stem from any deer that may get over here unbeknownst to us, or any other type of animals chipping away or trying to eat the bark or the stem while it's still kind of new and in development. So I bought these. They were like 10, it was a 10 pack for like $18. Overall, y'all, the trees have been looking so good. So very good. So y'all, I think the fruit trees look good. Again, I don't know quite what I'm looking for, but I am looking for signs of life. And I think we have signs of life. Even where I don't see new growth, the leaves that it came with are on there. Everything is green. We had that one snafu with the pear tree. I'm assuming it was transplant shock because now it's just fine. So if that happens to you, just, you know, hold on and don't panic too much, because like those leaves were like black and yellow, literally. But now it's kind of, you saw it, it's all green. So that's all good. So I'm really excited. We'll get the rest of these peach trees in the ground later today, and I'll continue to give you updates on the orchard and how things are going. Like I said, in my Amazon shop, I think I have a category for fruit trees, so you can find those tree guards. And then also there is a book that I bought that's like fruit trees for like beginners or something like that, that has been very helpful as well. Thank you guys so much for your suggestions on the channels to go watch. I have watched through several of those and several of their videos, so that's been helpful. So that is the fruit tree update. That's kind of where we are. The next thing on the list when it comes to fruit is just nailing down the spacing, not the spacing, nailing down the placement of our berries. So right now I think we have 4 or 5 blueberry bushes somewhere along in there. And then I have not ordered my blackberries or my raspberries yet. I will be getting those. If you guys have some variety suggestions for blackberries and raspberries, let me know. Obviously, I know I want thornless, so that's number one, but let me know what variety produces well for you or tastes good, especially if you're in my area. But now, y'all, let's go inside the outside garden and let's start planting our elevated raised bed. You guys loved that video of the elevated raised bed, and you guys gave me tons of suggestions of what to plant. So let's go grab our stuff and head to the outside garden and plant that up. Thanks so much for all the suggestions of what to plant in the elevated raised bed. You guys gave me great suggestions for the fall, for right now, and also for the spring and summer. So that is fantastic. I am going to add a layer of compost to the bed. Remember this soil we got from a landscape mix that we bought from a nursery earlier this year back in the spring, and this is what we had left over. It was enough to fill this bed as well as another bed. If you didn't see the video on this bed, I will tag it up here. It is a Vego elevated raised garden bed. It is 12 feet. The planting depth is 12 feet, but the bed is 32 inches high. It is a 4x8, and it has a shelf on the bottom. It has wheels that you can buy as extra and optional so that you can move it around at your leisure. But I so love this bed. I love the fact that I don't have to bend or anything. It is waist high and I can plant directly in it. So it makes it easy to garden, especially if you're physically challenged or don't have a ton of space and don't want to do the bending and planting in the ground. This is a great option for you if you decide you want to go that route. But the bed again is 4x8. The planting depth is 12 inches. And then the bed itself is 32 inches high. Also, if you're interested in this bed, there is a discount code in the description box. I am an affiliate partner with Vego Garden. I absolutely love their products. Again, if you like wooden raised beds, you can certainly do that. But wooden raised beds, remember, they're not going to last as long. A good 3 to 5 years. Cedar would be the highest quality wood. But when you go with these metal raised beds, they're ready to last at least 20 years, which is far better. So you're going to spend maybe a little bit more, but you're going to have it for much, much longer. So in the end, you're going to actually spend less. Okay, so we've topped it off with compost. So what I've decided to do is to plant snapdragons along the back. I think that'll be a pretty backdrop. And then come spring, they'll bloom. They'll be very, very pretty. So I'm excited about that. So I have 5 snapdragons here. And then I'm also going to do beets and radishes in this bed. So I decided to do the beets because y'all know I have a love-hate relationship with beets. I have not been able to grow beets successfully, nor do I really care for beets, but I want to try beets again because I want to use it for powder, for smoothies and juices and things like that. But then I also have heard that if you put them in the oven and roast them, they taste far better. And then the kind that I'm going to be doing, one of the kinds is Badger Flame Beet, which is by Row 7. I heard that this is the best tasting beet and does not have all that earthiness taste, because to me beets taste like the earth. and I don't want to taste the earth. So we're going to start with our snapdragons on the very, very back row. You also know what I hadn't thought about is, because this is right by the fence, I almost have like natural trellising for free that I don't have to put in. One of the things that I really wanted to do this fall was to plant some peas. I've never done, what do you call them? Is it snap peas? I've never done peas before. Like, I guess they would call them like snow peas or something. What do you call the peas? They're like, people snack on them all the time in the garden. I've never grown them, so I'm just intrigued and want to try it. But I really don't know the timing. I know that people do it in the spring, and I'm assuming in the fall, but I don't know if I'm too late for the fall. I don't know. Y'all put down here and let me know. And maybe if not this year, maybe I'll do some in the spring. But let's go ahead and get our snapdragons in. And I forget this bed is so long. It's like 12 feet. No, 8 feet. Sorry. So let me see how I want to place my snapdragons. And then we're going to direct sow some beets and some radishes. It is so nice on this day. The wind has a very nice breeze, and the high is like 80 on this particular day. It's supposed to rain most of this week, and we keep hearing thunder, but there's no rain yet, but it says that the rain is coming. So I thought this would be a perfect time to plant the bed up, get the fruit trees in the ground, and let Mother Nature give us some free water. So I think that's always a good idea to plant before it starts raining, if you can. So I just get in here and I put the snapdragons along the back. So if you're wondering, snapdragons, you can overwinter them. So what that means is I'm planting them now. They will grow probably over the next 6 weeks or so. And then after that, once it gets cold, they will actually go dormant. And then they will pop back up in the spring with beautiful, beautiful blooms. And so I have been overwintering snapdragons. This is my third winter overwintering snapdragons. So you got to make sure that you have the space for it to put them in there, and know that you're not going to use that space or turn it over for quite some time. Like I said, they'll get green and grow while the weather is still nice, but once it gets cold, they will still stay green, but they'll just go dormant, and then come spring, by April, you'll have beautiful, beautiful snapdragons. So I love overwintering flowers. It's like a nice surprise in the spring, and snapdragons are one of my favorite. So once I get the snapdragons in there on the back row, I put 5 in. I forgot how long this bed is. I may add another one to make it an even 6. But then I start to create me a row here to put the beets in. I'm doing 2 different kinds of beets. I'm doing Badger Flame beets, and then also golden touchstone beets. So I'm not doing any of the dark red, the Shigolas, or the Detroit dark red. I know those are some popular varieties, but I think that's high on the taste like earth list, so I'm gonna pass. So I go ahead and do my seeds, and I kind of just broadcast sow this seed. So I'm not really concerned about spacing. I'm not trying to do individual seeds. I'm just kind of broadcast sowing. I do half of the row with the Badger Flame, and I do half of the row with the Touchstone Gold. Again, because me and Beets, we still trying to work on our relationship. I wasn't going to take the time to do them one by one. I will, if we have germination and they grow, then I will just go back in and thin them out. And we will see if we finally can grow some beets in the year of our Lord 2025. Then after I got finished doing the beets, I do some radishes. I decided to just do a few radishes along the right edge of the bed. The radishes I'm doing are by Johnny Seed. They are a daikon radish, and the variety is Bravo. It is not your traditional radish in that it'll be ready in 30 days. It's going to take more like 50 or 60 days. The radish is huge. I did this last year and they were really good. We used them for salads. And then we also roasted some in the oven and they were delicious. Radish is kind of like how I was feeling about beets before I started gardening. I thought I didn't like radishes because they have like that bite. And I don't like things that have that bite, even though I like spicy stuff, but I don't like the bite. But I found a way to roast them and they taste. Okay, I gotta go get my hose pipe. I had taken it all the way out there to the fruit tree orchard. So we still gotta work out the watering situation. But right now the hose pipe reaches all the way out there because we have 150 foot hose pipe, but I gotta go get that so I can water this in. It's supposed to rain in the next couple of hours, so hopefully it does, but let me not take a chance. Let me go ahead and water it in case it does not rain. But I'm so glad that I was able to show you guys the fruit tree orchard. I'm glad that we were able to add to it and to expand. So that gives us a total of 12 fruit trees in the ground so far, and then we were able to plant our elevated raised bed together. I just remembered that I bought some ranunculus bulbs. These were like cheap at, like, I don't know, Home Depot, Walmart, I don't know, somewhere. They had them for like $3. So I said I would try them. I got to remember where I put the bag. So I left some open space. I did the snapdragons along the backside. I did beets in front of that, kind of like in the middle row. I did half badger flame and then half of the golden. Okay, my husband's bringing the hose pipe. And then I just did some radishes along this right edge here. So I still have plenty of space to add more to it. So if you have more suggestions, let me know. I'm gonna put those ranunculus in there. I've never done the corms before. And then we'll add, I'm gonna add some carrots in here as well. So, but we got a good head start, so we are good to go. But thank you guys so much for joining me on the journey today. If you have not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button so that you can be a part of this community. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. Bye, friends.